I love my people. I beg, I come pass my message to men. Men we in Europe. You will be say you dey stay for Europe, Canada, America, other countries where you dey in the world. I go beg you, find woman there. Find African woman there, make you marry. Say you won't go Nigeria, go Africa, say you won't go marry woman, come abroad to live life together. Many of those women wanna see, many of them don't they don't get that intention to really come marry you. Many they just want escape from poverty. They just want me you use the name of marriage to bring them come Europe. After them, you don't bring them come, they go yakpa leave you, they go move leave you. Make una learn from my story. Make una learn from what happened to me. Because like this now, I'm left alone. I'm all alone for myself. Nobody I go cry to. I go Nigeria. I bring woman come here with visa. I process everything with my own money. Money when I didn't see from work. When I didn't even see for my music. See, after winning many awards, now all my awards is in my back, so don't spend my money. For my woman finish, bring her come abroad. Now he both she can't follow. Now he both my woman can't follow. I beg Europe men, make una they choose woman for Europe. All those one when they go Nigeria, go they marry, they come. When the time go come, they go shook hand for the high. Just like the way my woman they shook hand for my high, so yeah, they regret everything. Make una learn from my story, before it goes set for the head. More na marry Europe women. Our black sisters with the European. Not them. Now we supposed to they marry or not be all those one who won't go bring from Nigeria. Me, I don't learn the hard way. If you don't want to learn the hard way as well, my brother, learn from my story. Learn from my story, now which I can tell you now. I use God to beg una African men with they abroad. Make una they marry our black sister with they abroad too. Why would I go leave our sister with they abroad just like as me do too? I not listen. I can't go marry from Nigeria, I go abroad. She be not shook out for my hider. Come bless I can't go use woman, sponsor woman come abroad to come they follow different men. Now, but she deal with now. She not agree to anything for my house. I post the video. For my timeline. I know where they watch me so. Now me they do this like woman for house. See, make I not to talk a lot. I come here to come beg men, my fellow men. I beg our black sisters with the Europe. I beg. May we they marry them. May we not they abandon them. Whether they be single mother or they not be single mother. May we not look them down because of the day Europe for yet nobody too perfect. I beg. I don't learn my lesson for the hard way. I beg fellow men. I beg now which I consider I can let you do.
Hello and welcome to Contemporary Views. My name is Gillian. On Contemporary Views, we discuss contemporary issues. Everything that you find trending on social media, be sure to find it on Contemporary Views. Yes. Now, you have watched that video and I have a thing or two to say. First of all, I sympathize with the man crying in the video and I understand. For those of you who still do not have a clear understanding of why he is crying, he's crying because he had to take a woman from Africa to Europe, yes, and then the woman got to Europe and then left him taking everything. I must tell you that this is not a new story. These things happen every day. And we have reasons to talk about it because they will keep happening unless we try to address them and see them from both perspectives. All right? Now, let me begin by analyzing this situation. You live in Europe. There are women in Europe. You play and toil with the women in Europe. Some of the men in Europe say that the girls, African girls who live in Europe have been so exposed and they are no longer good for family. That means they cannot be wives. But these men will not stay away from these girls, yes, because they are living side by side in Europe. So they begin to date these girls, yes. They begin to experiment with these girls. They do whatever they like with these women in Europe. And then when it now comes time for marriage, they go down to Africa to pick up the saints, in quotes, the saints. Those women that they feel that are still very naive, they feel that have not been touched by so many men, they feel that they have not have the experience or the exposure that the girls living in Europe have. So they will have to go to Africa to pick a wife. But what they do not know is times have changed, and so have people changed. Some of these girls, they will be loyal to you because they want to be delivered from poverty. They will be loyal to you because they want to live their American dream. They want to live their European dream. So when you come back home to pick a wife, you meet an angel. You meet a beautiful, wonderful woman. But then she too has a plan. Now, what about the ones you have been playing with in your place of stay? You travel to Europe, you stay there, say 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and then when you must have gathered enough, then you decide to go now to Africa to marry. The question is, for the past 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years that you have been living in Europe, you've been dating black women. None of them were good enough for you to marry. And why is that? Because you feel they are not fit for marriage. Why? Because they have been exposed. Why? Because they've been touched by many men. Why? Because they're not good enough for family. Now, what happens now to that your naive baby girl that you go to Africa to pick? The moment she gets to Europe, she becomes enlightened. By who? Of course, those you've played with. And what do you expect? She now knows her right. You should know that in Africa, women have no rights, little or no rights. That's like literally. You would hear that you have this right, you have that right, but literally, women have little or no rights in Africa. The law doesn't favor them as much as it does in the diaspora, in America, in Europe. The law favors the woman like crazily. So now that baby girl that you have carried to Europe becomes exposed, becomes enlightened, and then she knows how much power she now has over you. What do you expect? Some of you want to play out movie roles in your real lives. You want to play out stories in your real lives. People are real. Situations are real. Humans are real. You better get used to that. There is no way someone will see how much power she has, how much influence she has by leaving you, and then she will still want to stay. Some men in Europe will want a woman that they brought from Africa to exercise all the duties that they will normally exercise in Africa for free, and then on top of that go out and work, and then they do 50-50 at home. Of course, that's not going to work, brother. It is not going to work. And we all know that everybody moving from Africa to overseas, to Europe, to America, they are going there to work to support their family. There's no way you're going to take a woman from here and then carry her to Europe and do not expect her to work for her family. Did you forget that everybody living in Europe is like bailing out from poverty? Yes. Why do people generally travel to Europe? To bail out from poverty, to bail their families out too. So there's no way a woman is going to leave poverty in Africa, get to Europe where she can make lots of money, and then you want to oppress her like you oppress the women in Africa. In as much as I feel bad that you are crying, but I think that it serves you right because you have been with so many African women in Europe, but you just did not feel that they are good enough for marriage. Now, that angel that you thought from Africa is good enough for marriage has failed you, has hurt you. Just the way you had stuff doing with the European girls, no, with the African girls living in Europe, and then you left them hurt and in pain. So, brother, be kind to the people that you meet. Marry from the continent or marry in the continent that you are in. Do not waste your time on going back home to pick a wife, because you might just have this situation play out for you. And now, why do you feel that the girls back home are better? Why? And the girls living side by side with you in Europe are not good enough? As usual, I would always tell you, leave your comments. What are your thoughts? Leave them on the comment section. If you have not followed my page yet or my channel, please do so. Thank you and see you on the next video. Bye.